Good morning. This is the time and place for the Planning Hearing Officer hearings for Wednesday, September 7th, 2011. My name is Kristen Asp, and I will be conducting the hearing as Planning Hearing Officer. We have 3 cases on our agenda today, and all relevant exhibits are posted on the panels located directly behind me. There is a conditional use permit application and 2 variance applications which have required findings that will be covered during each of the hearings. If the evidence presented in the application at the hearing meets the criteria of those findings, the planning and hearing officer can either approve or impose conditions for approval on the case in question. If the findings of fact are not evident, then the request will be denied. Notification of this hearing was accomplished by the use of public notices, which were mailed to property owners located within 500 feet of the subject property, physically posted on the site in question, placed in the local newspaper, and posted on the city's website. A little outline for how the hearings will proceed. I will read the description of the application request. I will read any comments that may have been received from other city departments or other letters of communication from interested parties. I will then ask the case planner to make a brief overview of the case, give analysis, and make a recommendation. And I will then ask the applicant to come forward stating both name and address, and you'll be asked to present the case within a 15-minute time limit. Any others in support of or in opposition to the application and interested parties will be asked to come forward, also stating both their name and address, and they will have a 3-minute time limit. And then lastly, the applicant will be given the opportunity to make any closing comments with a 5-minute time limit. The hearing will then be closed and taken under submission. As far as a decision, after the hearing, the decision will be prepared in writing and will be in the form of a letter sent to the applicant and to all persons who responded to the public notice, either by speaking at this hearing or submitting written responses and have provided their name and mailing address. The date of the decision will be the date appearing on the letter, not necessarily the date of this hearing. As far as appeals, under the appeal provisions of Title 30, Chapter 30.62 of the Glendale Municipal Code, the decision may be appealed to the Planning Commission within 15 days of the decision date, again, the date of on the letter, not necessarily the date of this hearing. And notice of appeal should be filed with the Building and Safety Division located in MSB 101, which is located here on the first floor of this building. I noticed everybody got their speaker cards. If you wish to speak, please write your name and address and turn it into staff. I'd like to also inform everyone that the official proceedings of the Planning Hearing Officer hearings are recorded on tape as part of the public record. And now we will get on to the first hearing. Case number 1 is conditional use permit case number PCUP 2011-011. The applicant is Susie Fung. The project description is an application for a conditional use permit to allow the off-site sale of alcoholic beverages, beer and wine, at an existing food market located at 1425 East Colorado Street in the C1 neighborhood commercial zone as described on portions of Lot 72 Watts subdivision. And for the file, in terms of any comments from other divisions or departments, I do not see any comments. So I will turn it over to the case planner to do a quick overview, and then we'll hear from the applicant.
Okay. Good morning, Ms. Asp.
Good morning.
The first case today is case number PCUP-2011-00011. It is a conditional use permit to allow the sale of alcoholic beverages, beer and wine, at an existing food market in the C1 zone. The subject property is a mid-block development between Verdugo Road and Campus Street. The building has a total floor area of 9,372 square feet and has a lot size of 31,520 square feet. The site contains 44 parking spaces. The ancillary sale of alcoholic beverages at this market is not anticipated to intensify the parking demand to any significant degree. The main use will continue to be a food market with the ancillary service of beer and wine. The market will be open 7 days a week with 2 alcohol deliveries per month, and will maintain adequate parking and loading facilities on site. As a part of the application, the noted hours of operation are Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 9, Saturday, 8 a.m. to 9, and Sunday, 8 a.m. to 9. According to the Glendale Police Department, there are currently 3 off-site establishments on this track. Arco Food Market is one of the existing 3. Based on Part 1 of the Crime Statistics Census Tract, in 2010, there were 84 crimes in the area, which is 8% above the citywide average. Although the crime percentage is slightly above the citywide average, the police department did not have any significant concerns. Staff recommends approval of this conditional use permit with 14 conditions as noted in the staff report. The applicant is in the audience, and I'd be happy to answer any questions if you have.
Thank you, Mr. Reza. I think I'll ask the applicant to come forward. And Susie Fung?
Yes, I'm Susie Fung. I'm the applicant.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Gabe. Good morning, Roger. Good morning, everyone. In any case, we're here. This is a renewal, but we have to go through this again. The store has been in existence for over 20 years, and we had beer and wine license for that long period ever since we opened the store. I would like to read through the findings.
Thank you.
The first, on Part 4, how will the proposed use be consistent with the various elements and objectives of the general plan? We provide selling of wine and beer for all off-site consumption only. And the second question, why will the proposed use and associate structures and facilities not be detrimental to the public health, safety, or general welfare, or to the environment? We are a retail market, specialty retail market. We have the beer and wine. The selling of the liquor is to complement our food service, and actually it's a specialty store, so we're serving target market, Filipino or Asian market. And we've been here for a long time. It's a major street. Number 3, why will the proposed use and facilities not adversely affect or conflict with adjacent uses or impede the normal development of surrounding? We're very strict with to make sure that we don't violate any age requirement selling beer to minors. We're very strict on getting ID from customers. And number 4, explain how adequate public and private facilities such as utilities, landscaping, and parking spaces and traffic circulation measures are or will be provided for the proposed use. It's a freestanding store, and we have passed the parking requirement imposed by the city for the store. And the sale of alcohol at the store is very, very low. It's less than 5%. So the traffic is the normal traffic is because of the grocery, which has already passed the city requirement. The 5th question is not applicable to us because it's for wireless telecommunication. We don't have that. Next page, number 6, for application involving the sale, serving, or consumption of alcoholic beverages, the following 5 questions must be answered. Ours is for consumption, but off-site consumption. Okay, we understand that. We only sell alcohol for off-site consumption, so there will be no adverse impact on surrounding area caused by such overconcentration. Number 2, same answer as in number 1. Number 3, how does the existing or proposed use not adversely impact any church or public, private school or college, daycare facility, public park, library, hospital, or residential use within the surrounding area? This is again where we are very strict on IDing our customers for beers and wine.
Okay, because you are close to the high school.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Notwithstanding consideration of the above criteria 1 to 4, how does the existing or proposed use serve a public necessity or public convenience purpose for the area? We are on the major street. We have a food section, and we have customers who wants to have a one-stop shopping at the store. Grocery, food that they're gonna. It's cooked food to go section, so it helps. They don't have to go to many places, do several stops to get their beer. Letter G, not applicable. 1 and 2 is not applicable. For the rest, actually, it's not applicable for us anymore.
Okay. Can you just maybe tell me a little bit about your specialty store, just how you guys operate, and has anything changed in the last since the last time you were here? You're still operating the same? Just maybe tell me the story of the store.
As I said, it's been there for over 20 years. It used to be across the street. It was a 3,000 square foot building, and we moved across the street.
How long ago?
In 2004, June 2004.
Okay.
We moved there, and that's when the last time we applied for the permit. And it's still the same. The bigger part of the store, it's a grocery, but we have a section where we sell cooked foods and that's pretty much 50% or 60% of the business.
Okay.
It's the target market are Asian, but we do have Hispanics as well coming in to buy their grocery from the store for their seafood. It's a seafood meat market.
Okay. And I know Mr. Reza outlined the hours of operation. That's
correct. Yes.
7 days a week. You're basically 8 to 9.
7 days a week, 365 days a year.
Okay. And do you just sell beer and wine, or is it mainly?
We have some beverages as well, soda, water.
Okay.
And
but in terms of the
juices,
alcoholic beverages?
Only beer and wine.
Beer and wine. And do you sell like single containers of beer and wine, or do you have to buy like a six-pack?
We have single, we have 6-pack, we have case. For the specialty beer, we have the San Miguel. That's the only beer that we're selling in cases if they want to. The San Miguel beer, which is a Filipino, it's very popular with Filipinos.
Okay. And the single containers are?
All Bud Light, the regular beers.
Okay. And you mentioned that I know that the police department didn't have any comments of any kind of reports, and I guess I would attribute that to. You mentioned you check ID pretty well. I know you're close to the high school, so.
In the over 25 years, we've only had one. Because I've been there that long, I could only remember one incident where we made a mistake on the ID reading. But now DMV has a different kind of ID for minors.
Okay. And you haven't had any other issues or any other problems?
No, not for a long, long time.
Okay. And you like your new spot since 2004? That's
Yes.
working out for you?
Yes.
Plenty of parking?
The parking is really good.
And your, the employees park mainly
On in our parking structure.
in the parking lot?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. I don't have any other cards. Does anybody else want to speak? No? You have any closing remarks or anything else
No.
you'd like to say?
Thank you. Nothing else.
Oh, I do have one last question. There are a number of conditions outlined in the staff report. Have you reviewed those? Are you okay with those?
Yes. Yes.
You don't have any questions on those or any concerns?
No.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Kristen.
If there's any other comments, I'm going to go ahead and close public hearing and take this under submission. And then give me just a second to get on to the next item.
Sure, thank you.
Okay. The next case is actually, the next two cases, 2 and 3, are actually for the same Mercedes-Benz automobile dealership, and I'll read both project descriptions, and I think I'll open it as one public hearing. We can discuss it as a whole, break it out into what's what, and go from there. Okay. Item number 2 is variance case number 2011-012. The applicant is Parkley Holdings. The project description is the Mercedes-Benz automobile dealership recently completed tenant improvements to their showroom building. The variance application is a request to allow the installation of a new projecting sign which exceeds maximum size and thickness requirements, and to allow the installation of 3 wall signs instead of 1 wall sign on the recently rehabilitated building located at 700 through 708 South Brand Boulevard in the CACS Commercial Auto Commercial Specialty Zone, described as lots 1 through 6, track number 2460. Item number 3 is variance case number 2011-16. The applicant is also Parkley Holdings. The project description for this case is the Mercedes-Benz automobile dealership is completing construction of a new service building located at 610 through 624 South Brand Boulevard and 115 East Maple Street in the CACS Commercial Auto, Commercial Specialty, and R1650P Medium High Density Residential Parking Overlay Zones, described as lots 20 and 21 and portions of lots 3, 22, 23, and 24. Gritter and Hamilton's Lomita Park Tract. The variance application is a request to allow the following: installation of a new projecting sign which exceeds maximum size and thickness requirements and which projects further into the public right-of-way than otherwise permitted. Installation of 8 wall signs instead of 3 wall signs on the service building, and installation of a directional sign which exceeds maximum size requirements. And I'm just going to quickly go through the files. I don't believe that there are any comments from other departments, but I will just verify, and then I will turn it over to staff. There doesn't appear to be any comments other than to pull all necessary building permits. As needed or required. I think they were the same for the other case as well. looks like just to note any building permit requirements. We have lots of it. Okay, there doesn't appear to be any significant comments from other departments. I will turn it over to Mr. Kiesel to outline the project briefly.
Good morning. The Mercedes-Benz automobile dealership is going through a renovation of their facility at 622 and 708 South Brand Boulevard. Tenant improvements were recently completed on their showroom building, and construction of the new service building is almost complete. The applicant is requesting variances from the city's sign regulations for both buildings. The variance application for the showroom requests to allow the installation of a new projecting sign which exceeds the maximum size and thickness requirements, and to allow the installation of 3 wall signs instead of 1 wall sign on the recently rehabilitated building. The variance application for the service building requests to allow installation of a new projecting sign, also which exceeds the maximum size and thickness requirements and which projects further into the right-of-way than otherwise would be permitted. It also requests installation of 8 wall signs instead of 3 wall signs, and installation of a directional sign which exceeds the maximum size requirements. Staff believes that the findings can be made to support the approval of both variance requests. First, with regard to the showroom building, which is the building you're looking at right now, strictly applying the sign regulations will result in an unnecessary hardship inconsistent with the intent of the ordinance. The intent of the sign regulations, in part, is to protect and enhance the physical appearance of the community, create a more attractive business climate, and reduce obstructions that may contribute to safety hazards. The projecting sign will be 18 square feet in area. The showroom facade along South Brand Boulevard is 136 feet in length approximately. While the projecting sign is 12 square feet larger than what would otherwise be allowed, since the building will contain only 1 occupant, no other projecting sign will be allowed on the South Brand Boulevard facade, even though the extended street frontage of the building is significantly greater or significantly wider than a standard commercial frontage. Given the size of the projecting sign, the proposed 11-inch thickness is appropriate to maintain the sign proportions. The area of accessory wall signs for automobile dealerships are permitted to be up to 2 square feet in area for each 1 foot of building frontage facing a street. This subject building, again, has 136 feet of frontage along South Brand Boulevard, which would allow a maximum of 272 square feet of sign area. While 3 wall signs are proposed on the South Brand Boulevard facade, the sign area of these signs totals only 69 square feet. 2 distinct services take place on the subject site: the sale of new cars and the sale of pre-owned cars. Additionally, there are only 2 horizontal bands on the building suitable for wall signs. These 2 areas include a second floor building facade, which is significantly set back from the first floor facade, where the 3 wall signs are proposed. Limiting the number of wall signs to 1 on South Brand Boulevard would create a hardship, given that 2 uses take place on the site along frontage of the showroom and the significantly restricted area where signs can be located. The length of the building facade, as well as the renovation of the building, are the exceptional circumstances which warrant granting the requested variances. The extended length of the showroom building would typically be divided into 3 or 4 tenant spaces in a typical commercial area, each of which would be allowed 1 projecting sign. It is therefore reasonable to allow one projecting sign for this site to exceed the permitted sign area by approximately 12 square feet. Installing one wall sign with a sufficient amount of advertising area would be difficult since the building has limited wall space and the second floor is set back significantly from the street, which severely limits visibility of any sign installed there. Further, the detailing of the building reduces the amount of area which could be devoted to wall sign. While the three wall signs are separated by a significant distance, which prevents them from being considered as one sign if we box them all in together, enclosing them within one area would result in approximately 210 square feet of sign area, which is well below the maximum allowed on that frontage. Given the constraints imposed by the building design as well as the extended frontage, it is reasonable to allow additional wall signs on the building which are well under the total square footage permitted by the sign regulations. The granting of the variance will not be detrimental to the public welfare or injurious to the property improvements in the neighborhood. Neither the police department nor traffic and transportation sections cited concerns or safety hazards posed by the proposed signs, and none are anticipated. The signs will need to, obtaining a sign permit and subsequent inspections will ensure that the signs are properly installed to eliminate safety hazards. Projecting signs are required to have a minimum clearance of 8 feet from the bottom of the sign, and the projecting sign has much higher clearance than that. The proposed wall signs will have a minimum clearance of approximately 12 feet. The renovated building is contemporary in style. The proposed signs are simple, clean-lined, and contemporary in appearance and complement the style of the building. Now jumping over to the service building. The proposed projecting sign there will be approximately 25 square feet in area. The service building facade on South Brand Boulevard is 203 feet in length. While the projecting sign is 19 square feet larger than what would otherwise be allowed, since the building also only contains one occupant, no other projecting sign will be allowed on this facade, even though the street frontage, like the showroom building, is significantly wider than the standard commercial frontage. Given the size of the projecting sign, the 4.5-foot projection into the public right-of-way, and the proposed 11-inch thickness is appropriate to maintain proportions. Moving on to the wall signs, while 4 wall signs are proposed on the South Brand Boulevard frontage and 3 wall signs are proposed on the East Maple frontage, the sign area for these signs totals only 285 square feet on South Brand and 264 square feet on East Maple Street, which is below the wall sign area permitted. 406 square feet of wall sign area would be allowed on South Brand Boulevard, and 330 square feet of wall sign area would be allowed on East Maple Street. Limiting the number of wall signs to 1 would encourage the installation of very large signs out of proportion with the building, or reduce significantly the area devoted to advertising the business. Sign regulations allow 1 directional sign for each vehicle entrance and exit, up to 4 square feet in area. The driveway located in the southeast portion of the site provides access to on-site parking and the parts department. The purpose of this sign is to direct customers accessing the dealership from East Maple Street to these 2 distinct dealership facilities or amenities. The sign contains the words customer parking and parks department. Including this wording on a single directional sign proposed would render the sign illegible if the sign is limited to 4 square feet, and I should say it's proposed at 11 square feet in area. The traffic and transportation and engineering sections did not cite the proposed signs as being safety hazard, and no safety hazards are anticipated as a result of any of the signs. The length of the facade of the service building is the exceptional circumstance which warrants granting the variances related to the projecting and wall signs. Sign regulations permit only one projecting sign per ground floor occupancy, regardless of how wide that occupancy is. The extended length of the service building would typically be divided into 4 or 5 tenant spaces, each of which would allow one projecting sign. As I mentioned previously, sign regulations would permit a maximum of 406 square feet of sign area on South Brand Boulevard and 330 square feet of frontage on East Maple Street. One wall sign containing these maximum areas would overwhelm the newly constructed building. It is sensible, therefore, to allow more than one wall sign on each facade. The large size of the site, as well as the number of functions contained on the site, are the exceptional circumstances which warrant granting the variance related to the size of the directional sign. The site on which the service building is located is almost 1 acre in size. Additionally, in addition to the automobile service component, the site also contains a portion of the on-site parking for the dealership, the parts department, offices for the dealership, display vehicles, and automobile storage. The driveway located off East Maple Street provides access to the on-site parking as well as the parts department. Both uses are commonly used by customers who don't frequent the site. So containing the information necessary on the sign to adequately convey how to access the parking and parts department is not possible without reducing the size of the font significantly and then rendering the purpose of the sign useless. It becomes illegible. The granting of the variance will not be detrimental to the public health, welfare, or injurious to the property or improvements in the neighborhood. Again, like the previous application, traffic and transportation engineering didn't cite any proposed safety hazards as a result of the proposed signs. The projecting sign is 16 feet above the adjacent sidewalk, which is well above the minimum 8-foot clearance. The directional sign will alleviate driver confusion on East Maple Street, and then installation of all the signs will require issuance of a sign permit. And like the showroom building, the newly constructed service building is contemporary style, and the proposed signs are simple and clean lined and contemporary and will complement the style of this building. That concludes my presentation. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Kiesel. I think I will ask the applicant to come up. Lisa Black?
I'm here on behalf of Susan Wong.
Okay.
Thank you for hearing our request today. CalStar Motors has been doing business in Glendale, I think, for 25 or 26 years now, and have, well, in the last year, started to expand their operation from the showroom building that is currently located at 700 South Brand and built a new service building at 622 South Brand, which has just been completed last week, and they'll be opening for business in that building next week. Without repeating what Mr. Kiesel has just outlined very well, we are making this request with the understanding that we are trying to comply with the spirit of the code. We realize that there are circumstances that are requiring us to consider an alternate solution in terms of signage that complements the building, addresses the spirit of the code, and provides some enough information, I should say, for vehicular traffic such that they can access this site, and hopefully, it's a pretty congested area with vehicular traffic. Hopefully, it will mitigate some of the congestion that occurs due to the fact that there is not signage in place. And I guess lastly, we certainly understand the conditions of approval that are proposed and are willing and prepared to comply with those.
Okay. I guess just to sort of start with my questions then. Could you maybe walk me through sort of all the signs that are
Sure.
on both sites?
Sure.
And then maybe elaborate a little bit more on, how you did try to comply with the code and, maybe what didn't work for you and...
Okay, on the 700 South Brand and 708 South Brand property.
Actually, it might be good if you
You're
stepped up.
more than welcome
Oh, is that
to...
okay? All right.
There is?
I can use one of these.
Oh, you're I apologize.
So 700 South Brand, oh, I guess you have it over here. 700, and then there's 708 South Brand. This showroom was expanded into this building as part of this renovation. As Roger pointed out, this is a new car sales showroom. Previously, they had a variance application that was approved signage on this building model, and so we're applying for signage on this building. This building was added, so there's an additional sign for this building. And as Roger noted in his opening comments, there is a second level to this building, but it's set back considerably. So to put signage in this location would really be very ineffective. You could not, even in a vehicle, I don't think you can see it from the street. Very difficult at best. And the signs that are proposed are certainly well below the square footage required in the sign ordinance, or allowed, I should say, within the sign ordinance. And then there's a third. And the cantilevered sign or projecting sign there's no signage proposed along this elevation along Maple Street. And
Previously there was?
there was not. There was not.
Okay.
There were two signs on this elevation, same application that we're making now. They happen to be considerably smaller than the two. We're proposing a third sign for this additional building that was incorporated in showroom space. So this space was not
For Mercedes.
for this building, yeah, for this property. And then the projecting sign.
And are any of the signs illuminated?
Oh,
Okay. So they're just a channel letter. Some of them are a channel letter and some of them are
right,
on some kind of
background.
aluminum background or panel.
I think it really will help with, no one knows what this is right now. There's no signage, so it will really help people that are driving somewhat, I don't want to say aimlessly, but without a sense of direction, know that they've arrived at where they're attempting to find. Otherwise, it's just, it's just circulation that somewhat unnecessary with it.
And for the
For this
building?
property, it's 622, I think it's listed as 610 through 624, because it is several parcels of land, and there's actually an additional parcel on Maple Street, which is this parcel here. There are a series of signs included in the application for this particular property. Some are directional so that you know where to enter into the drive.
and that the driveway off of Brand,
As you're driving down Brand, this
That's
would
where
be the
most-
entry for the service.
like if you owned a Mercedes and you were coming to service your car, that's how you would
This is
access
how
it?
you would access
Okay.
it, yeah. This is the only access for service.
Okay.
And it circulates through the building. There are 3 signs, I think, on the facade of this building that,
There are 4 signs on the South Brand facade and 3 signs on the East Maple.
sign. Okay, so
Yeah.
there's the Mercedes Star, and part of what we've been trying to work with in the spirit of the code, and also that which was required by Mercedes-Benz, is we cannot combine a Mercedes-Benz sign and so trying to work with the spirit of the code in terms of the square footage, which we're certainly well under. That's why you see some separation between signs as well.
Because Mercedes,
Not allow you
Or
to have the name of
Ford.
your business with their name. Here, this drawing is relatively small, but this is where the service entrance is for bringing your cars in for service along Brand, inspecting sign. And then there's a monument sign on the corner. I don't think it's part of this application because
The monument sign that they're proposing complies with all the sign regulations.
but it is still part of the
Signage
overall
solution.
signage that
Yeah.
Yes.
you're looking to put on the
Correct,
property.
correct. And then on the Maple elevation, again, there's quite a bit of vehicular traffic along Maple. It's a fairly congested area. We've, again, put the same 3 signs that we have on the Brand elevation just to announce the business. And the additional sign that's included in the variance on Maple is a directional sign, which Roger outlined in his remarks, directing traffic into the parking area behind. Again, it's very, very congested, so we think that the right here is where that directional sign is proposed, will help this traffic, if they're planning to come in here, understand where they're supposed to go without making it more congested.
Okay, and that's, I'm just reading what, we have a showroom entrance, pre-owned cars and
It would be this one.
So
This is-
visitor parking and
That's over here.
the parts department. So that
Yeah.
would be for customers who are just coming to visit and
And
maybe
or,
deliveries of parts or something?
well, actually, there are people that come and purchase parts as opposed to bringing their cars in for service. So, and there's also other independent repair shops that purchase parts, so they will go to wholesale parts counter to purchase their parts as opposed to going into the dealer or into the service building itself where the other service
Okay.
vehicles are being managed. So those people would park back in here. There's actually an entry here for parts, wholesale
Okay.
parts sales. They would come in here and then go back in. And other customers that don't necessarily frequent this building, they would also be able to park in here and then.
And all one dealership, just sort of bisected by Maple Street.
Exactly.
And we have sales, new and used, on the south building, and just
Service.
service and parts and visitor parking
Right.
on the north side.
And service is currently located here in an alley.
Okay.
So this function
That
is
operation
moving
is
across
moving.
the street.
Okay.
this
And that's the
weekend.
newer building that's
This is
that
new.
just got completed?
This building will be demolished after they move, and a vehicle parking structure will be here.
Okay. For your Maple Street elevation, there's, 3 signs on that side. Guess maybe, is that a little less visible from Brand? Is that, can you maybe tell me why you went with 3 signs on that elevation versus maybe just one sign as a less prominent frontage of, if you consider Brand maybe the more significant?
I believe these signs,
Frontage.
number one, are smaller than the signs that are proposed. and number two, if we were to combine these signs, they would be a very large wall sign, which you mentioned probably what I'd like to see architecturally and so on. And then lastly, as I believe I mentioned earlier, part of the Mercedes brand requirement is that we're not allowed to combine the name. That all those things collectively moved us in this direction. Although we did size them down because when you drive down Maple Street, it's a narrower street, brand, and as you're closer, you don't need the signs to be, so they are smaller.
I think the star wall sign on Brand and the star sign on
Are
the same size, and each of the. Well, I thought each of the same signs on each elevation are the same size.
Okay.
The difference between the two elevations is just the square footage of the service entrance wall sign
Okay.
on South Brand is not on the,
Okay.
obviously on the East Maple, but I think everything else is
I
the
may have
same
missed that.
size. So,
So I guess
So
I'm...
we lowered these because, on this Maple elevation, because we felt that the street was narrower, and you'll see them lower, whereas Brand is wider, and you'll see them higher because of all the street trees and so on.
Okay.
But you would not, if you were traveling down Maple in either direction, to put the signs up higher as we had on the Brand elevation, you really wouldn't see them. But for people that may be coming down Maple to this facility, wouldn't know that you're here unless these signs exist.
I guess I'm just
Right.
questioning maybe
Sure.
the number of, if we know from the front that it's Mercedes-Benz and CalStar Motors, would you need to know that it's CalStar Motors or Mercedes from that side? Did you consider reducing the number to try and comply more?
Well,
with
we
the
did,
intent of
but
the ordinance.
we didn't know how, on this elevation, we would be announcing this business if it just becomes a blank wall with no...
If you're allowed one sign, did you consider just CalStar Motors or just Mercedes-Benz or just the star logo? That's all I'm trying to get at.
Well, for a couple of reasons, no, because it becomes a huge wall sign if you combine them all together. Probably a larger sign than what. And then number two, the Mercedes-Benz does not allow us to combine signs.
You've made that clear. Would you consider eliminating?
We'd rather
Why?
not, because we think we would like to be able to announce what this building is. That's the business there. Otherwise, we don't know what.
Well, if it was Mercedes-Benz only, which I'm just...
I think if we were to take away a sign, we'd take away the star, because this is the business,
Okay.
as opposed to the star. I don't know if Mercedes-Benz will allow it. We'll have to go back to them.
And the projecting sign is on the Brand elevation?
It's right here,
The Brand
yeah.
sign, and it's...
And
tell if
it's right on the corner of the
right
building.
here, it's right out here. Yeah, right, exactly. It's right here.
And you don't, to your knowledge, you don't know if that's illuminated?
It is not illuminated.
Okay.
Both in the 700 application and the...
Okay. 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 Any other points or that you'd like to make? I guess those were mainly my questions, just to walk through the signs and how you tried to comply. Anything else by?
I don't have anything else.
I know Roger covered the findings, but did you have any? You just talked about the
Without repeating what he said, because I agree with how he's outlined that, and I'm happy to repeat it, but I don't think that there's anything else that we necessarily discovered.
Okay. Thank you very much. And
Thank you.
seeing that there are no other speaker cards and nobody else in the room, I will take this case under submission. This hearing is now officially closed. Thank you all for coming. We're done. Adjourned.
to the Look Ahead, which covers the meetings and events scheduled this coming week. A listing of city meetings with live air and replay times can be found on GTV6's website, www.glendale.tv, and on the bulletin board airing daily on GTV6. Please note that some of these meetings may be canceled or postponed after their original announcement. To confirm, visit the city's website at www.ci.glendale.ca.us or call the department responsible for that particular meeting. High temperatures are predicted again for this Labor Day weekend, so it would be a great time to enjoy Glendale's new Pacific Park pool. Be sure and check the hours of operation first at www.glendaleaquatics.com. And seniors are invited to join their friends in air-conditioned comfort at the Adult Recreation Center. Call 818-548-3775 to learn the hours of operation and activities. City offices and all library branches will be closed on Labor Day, Monday, September 5th. In addition, 2 of Glendale's library branches will change their hours of operation beginning Tuesday, September 6th. Call the Grandview branch at 818-548-2049 or the Pacific Park branch at 818-548-3760 to learn more. Let's take a short break and we'll be back with the weekly meetings and events. The city is celebrating its 10th annual Unity Fest Glendale on Sunday, October 16th, beginning at noon. This year's cultural event will be bigger and better than ever, taking over Brand Boulevard from California to Wilson. It features something for the entire family, including ethnic food, dance and music, plus a global marketplace, an art exhibit, and a special celebrity guest appearance by Mario Lopez. This year's event has even more to offer. A unique dance performance titled Expulsion will take place in a specially constructed staging area on the corner of Brand and Wilson at the conclusion of the day's activities. Admission is free and plenty of parking is available in the downtown area. If you would like to be a part of the event as a sponsor or a vendor, visit the City of Glendale's website. Join us for Unity Fest Glendale 2011 on Sunday, October 16th. Hope to see you there.
Did you know in Glendale alone we investigated 6 traffic-related deaths last year? The majority of these incidents involved pedestrians hitting crosswalks. Through engineering, education, and enforcement, the City of Glendale wants to inform the public of the dangers of distracted driving and to encourage vigilance while crossing the street. If you're driving, don't be driven to distraction. And if you're walking, look to live.
Now sit right here. Don't touch anything. Mommy's going to be right back.
It only takes seconds for the unthinkable to happen. Stop. Think. Remember. And whatever you do, never, ever leave children unattended in or around a vehicle, not even for a minute. For more information, go to notevenforaminute.org. Brought to you as a public service by the Los Angeles County Medical Association Alliance and the Glendale Sunrise Rotary Club.
Welcome back. The Glendale Housing Authority and the Glendale Redevelopment Agency will meet consecutively on Tuesday, September 6th at 2:30 p.m. in City Council chambers. The City Council will meet that evening at 6 p.m. Details about the City Council are available at 818-548-4844. For information about housing issues, call 818-548-2060. And the number of the Redevelopment Agency is 818-548-2005. During the council meeting, there will be a public auction of surplus property at 3445 Altura Avenue. This property was formerly the site of an electrical substation. If you would like information about this sale, visit the city's website at www.ci.glendale.ca.us. The Glendale Planning Hearing Officer will meet at 9:30 a.m. on Wednesday, September 7th in room 105 of the Municipal Services Building. The Planning Commission will meet that afternoon at 5 p.m. in this same room. If you have questions about either of these meetings, call 818-548-2140. On Thursday, September 8th, there will be a special meeting of the Community Development Block Grant Committee at 2:30 p.m. in City Council chambers. Call 818-548-2060 if you have any questions. Design Review Board number 1 will meet at 5 p.m. in room 105 of the Municipal Services Building. Information about this meeting is available at 818-548-2140. And finally, on Thursday, the community is invited to a kickoff program for the October Glendale Relay for Life event. The kickoff begins at 5:30 p.m. at the Alex Theater on Brand Boulevard. There are no business meetings scheduled on Friday, September 9th. That evening, Glendale Beautiful will host its annual fall dinner at the Casa Adobe de San Rafael, 1330 Dorothy Drive, beginning at 5:30 p.m. The evening's entertainment includes a musical performance by Gabriel Pauzos. Tickets are still available. Call 818-248-4415 if you would like to attend. And on Saturday, September 10th, Path Achieve Glendale will celebrate its 5th anniversary with a great dinner, live music, and a live auction. The festivities take place at the ABC Broadcast Center, beginning at 6 p.m. If you need more information about this event or wish to purchase tickets, contact Christina Hanna at 818-409-3334. Glendale will recognize the 10th anniversary of the 9/11 tragedy at all city fire stations on Sunday, September 11th. The event at Fire Station 21 at 21 Oak Street will begin at 6:57 a.m. with the lowering of the U.S. flag to half-staff, followed by a moment of silence and the reading of the names of the firefighters who lost their lives during rescue attempts. Bicycle enthusiasts should mark their calendars for Sunday, September 25th. Join Mayor Laura Friedman on a 2-hour bike tour of Glendale. Visit the city's website at www.ci.glendale.ca.us for details. And finally, Glendale's Unity Fest is celebrating its 10th anniversary on Sunday, October 16th along Brand Boulevard between California and Wilson. This event recognizes the city's cultural diversity through music, song, dance, food, and crafts. Organizers are now seeking vendors, sponsors, and performers. Contact Zizette Mullins at 818-548-4844 if you are interested. The City of Glendale is pleased to announce its newest electronic monthly outreach, City Connection, which is replacing the printed City Views publication. If you would like advance notice about city issues and events, sign up on the city's website. This publication will be delivered electronically to your email address on the 1st of each month. And for daily updates, be sure to follow us on Twitter at www.twitter.com/myglendale. That's it for this time. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next week.